Hi guys, it's Krishanti with Krishanti.com talking about psychic development and spiritual and personal growth. I've done a couple of videos on manifesting and I wanted to talk a little bit more about it in this video, specifically around a very important and critical component basically related to manifesting, which is whether or not you really want what you think you want. So if you're trying to create, trying to bring things into your reality and to manifest, it's important to really think about this and not glaze over it. The reason why this came up, and I realized it was so important, is that I was recently at a very cool workshop where the guy, William Bengston, Bengston, is curing cancer with energy and teaching people how to do it, and it's incredible. I'd have to do another whole video all about that, but let me sum it up and say that a part of what he teaches is that you want to make a list of at least 20 things that you really want. And you would think, oh, that's easy. Like I want this and this and this, but it actually is quite difficult, and it can involve other people because you can't mess with other people's desires and everything. It's what you want. No one else involved. You have to really want it. And you have to want it so much that you get excited about it. 20 of those things. And again, I feel like off the top of your head, you could think, oh yeah, that's really easy. Here's what I want and all of that. But what he has said, and what I noticed firsthand, not only in the workshop, but with myself too, is it's very difficult to get in the space and get in the zone of feeling like you can have that, or that you really want it, all barriers aside. And when we were in that workshop, in fact, I tried to do this with the training program like on my own, and I wasn't able to with the 20 things. I was stumped. It didn't feel like pure too. I was having a problem with it. And then when I took the workshop live, a lot of people were having that issue, and there were tons of questions about like what they could ask for, and if they could ask for a certain amount of money or this or that. And he kept saying, and a lot of manifesting teachers teach this too, he was like, well, is the lump sum of money the root of what you really want? Is it just to have that? If it is, okay, that's fine. But if you really want that so you can do something else, why don't you hook into and get in the space of what that other thing is, and just go deeper and deeper into it to really realize what your heart desires and what your soul really wants. And it was, again, very interesting because a lot of people, or a group of maybe 50 people learning this just in this one workshop. So I guess somebody thought of a Tesla, and then everybody was saying they wanted a Tesla. And I was trying to make this list, and I'm like, I guess I'll put Tesla or some other car. And when I thought about it, it's funny, like I don't really want that kind of car. Or even need a car. I like my car now. It's not something I'm like dreaming of right now, but just to fill the space, I'd put that, and then I scratched it out. But I noticed other people doing that too. Like someone said that car, and because he gave it as an idea, like, oh, you're in the car driving on a highway. And so everybody put car on their list, because it was easy, and it's something that we all should want. However, you know what I mean? Like after some soul searching, I was like, well, I don't really want that. And other things too. Just like other examples he would give, and then people would just get hooked into that. Well, I guess if he's saying he wants that, or other people have said they want that, I guess I should want that too. Let me finish by saying what a side effect of creating this list of things you want and running it the way he teaches you to run it in the workshop to produce the healing energy. He says you actually magnetize those things to you, and you end up getting the things on your list that you say you want, objects and experiences, which is really interesting. So again, if you're interested, it's William Bengston, Bengston. But what I've noticed in working with people in readings and healings is they have these blocks to creating what they want, because they're buying into the groupthink of human consciousness. And this we are like a group sort of species, and we all resonate with each other. So they think and feel like they want to have this because you're supposed to want to have it. And then when it doesn't come about, it's because there's a conflicting energy there. Like in relationships, a lot of people, a lot of women, because I do past life work too, and I love all of that. A lot of women think they want relationships because you're supposed to want to have that. And then you look in there deeper and say, well, why isn't that happening? Well, first of all, she's cloaking herself. Second of all, cloaking her energy so she's not open to other people. Second of all, she doesn't really want that because she's more afraid of being with a bad guy than she is excited about being with a great guy. Why is she afraid of being with a bad guy? Because she's had lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of being suppressed, of having to be married, of being stuck in a situation with some dude she doesn't want to be with. And this is the first lifetime in this era of human development where a woman can be free and doesn't have to get married, doesn't have to be with a guy, and can do whatever the hell she wants to do. You know, and yet it's still so prevalent that like what we're supposed to do is group. We are supposed to mate. We're supposed to. So then you're like, oh, I think I want to do this. I think I want to have a wedding. I think I want to have a registry. I think I want to live with this guy and blah, blah, blah. But really your soul wants to be completely free. And that's why you're not creating it. And everyone, like I always say, everyone's situation is different, but I wanted to talk about this to help get all of us in that mindset of like, wait, what do we really value? And what do we like really, really want? And it's almost as if you'll be more powerful with it if you approach it from that space of like being like a child, like what makes you laugh, what your inner child, you know, what makes you feel good, what makes you just happy, even if it's ridiculous, even if other people don't want that. Maybe you do. To take it a step further and cycle back to what was going on in the Bill Bankston workshop, is that because he's working with people who are terminally ill, he's curing cancer, something that comes up a lot is people who are very sick sometimes say they want to get better, but they identify so strongly with having that illness that they don't really know what to do when it's gone. So you take away the illness and all of a sudden they're all better and they don't have any doctor's appointments to go to. They don't have this thing to think about and talk about, and this thing that like identifies them. You take away a chunk of their identity. You would ask them, hey, do you want to be cured? Do you want to be better? Well, of course they do. But the block is, oh my God, like, do they really want to? And then they get angry. This is what Bill talks all about. They get angry when you take it away, and it's not great. Regardless of whether you have an illness or not, or if you're just trying to manifest. Another thing that's very interesting about it is, what would happen if you actually did have what you want? Like, do you really believe that you could experience it or you could have it? And what would that create for you? Like, what would you do? You know? And I don't think we think about that enough. I think we make these vision boards, you know, we put them up. And by the way, a nod to vision boards, you got to remember to have them out. I've worked with a lot of people who do the whole thing. They cut the pictures out. They think about what they want. They cut the pictures out. They make these boards, and then the boards are collecting dust, like in their closet, like mine are right now, or under their bed, or just whatever. You got to have it out, and you got to look at it. You have to think about it. You have to get excited about it, and then you'll start creating it if you really want it. But again, if you're so used to life being a struggle that you're really identifying with that struggle and it becomes like a part of you, like you become used to it, what happens if that disappears? And what are you going to do then? So something you might want to do or add on to your whole manifesting deal is really probe and think and plan for what you will do when what you want happens and when it comes about. Like, what more can you want? It goes back to, again, that list of 20 things. It's like, wow, first of all, I can't think of 20 things. Secondly, okay, when I think of them, I guess I want that. Well, okay, well, maybe I really do want that. Well, then what's going to happen when I get that? And what am I going to do? What else am I going to want? Once again, it is something that we can very easily gloss over and be like, oh, no, that's not a problem. But then we're not manifesting. We're not creating. And it comes back to maybe that's why. What's very, very interesting about this is that there is a clairvoyant healing technique, a classic clairvoyant healing thing about having a havingness gauge. Havingness, like HAVINGNESS, havingness. And when you work with someone in a clairvoyant session and they're like, oh, I really want like my business to succeed. Like, I really want to make all this money. I really want this. You're like, well, let me see how much you're willing to let yourself have this. And you create a havingness gauge clairvoyantly from 0 to 100. And oftentimes that person that's saying they really want it, well, their ability to allow themselves to have it is like down at 30. Like, so they want it, but then they're not able to let themselves have it. Maybe because they haven't had a lot. So you're used to not having a lot. You know, maybe they're used to like life not going their way. So much so, again, that it becomes married to their identity. It becomes a part of who they are. It's like, I am someone who struggles. So my whole thing is struggle. So when I say I want to have this, and my havingness gauge is like at a 30, it's because I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know how I can become this person that like is allowed to have this, actually does have it. It doesn't get taken away. It's fantastic. It's better than I ever thought. And oh my God, this isn't me. Like, I can't have this. What the fuck? Like, forget it. I'm just not going to let it happen at all. I swear to you, this is happening more often than you would ever believe to a lot of people. So if you just dive deep, and that's all there is to it. It's not a lot of work. It's just thinking, and it's fun thinking. You got to just get yourself in that space of like imagining, like, what could it be like? Like, I wonder what it would feel like, and who would I be, and what would I like look like, and how would I feel, and then what would I do after that, and how would that change my life, and how would it change the people in my life? Because another thing that is something that holds a lot of people back is that the people that you associate with, like, they wouldn't know what to do if you changed, and you're so afraid of like breaking out of these boundaries. In fact, here's a story, an example of exactly this kind of situation. I have a client who's a young guy who's very cool. There's something about him that is incredibly deeply spiritual, and he has within him the seed of a powerful healer and spiritual teacher. But he's like a guy. He's like a young guy. He's like a young guy who hangs out with a lot of friends who don't have big aspirations, who like to get high and just hang out and do their regular jobs. And he realized that if he wanted to get in the space of transforming and setting out on this path, this very authentic, genuine path of his truth, he can't associate and hang out with those guys as much. Not that they're bad people, and it's not that we're assigning blame or we're doing a better than or anything like that, but sometimes if you have these big aspirations and the people around you don't, you're not going to create that, because you might find it very uncomfortable to shift into a whole other sphere. And also maybe you're resonating with them and you sense that they don't want that, and so you just stay comfortable. And that's very human, because humans they stay in their pods. It's safe to be, to stay in the village, and to be, to stick out like a sore thumb or to be the weirdo that's doing something different is very uncomfortable. And so rather than embrace the uncomfortability in the honor of manifesting what you want to manifest, you will just create a block and just again be like, well, I guess that's not happening, or maybe I'll just think about something else and not even deal with this anymore. So that's going on a lot too. I don't know if I said this already or not, but he's starting to distance himself just ever so gently in order to give himself space to work on what his soul needs to work on and wants to work on in this lifetime. So that was a whole lot of stuff I talked about, like all at once and threw at you, but I hope that it at least helps you start thinking about things and about experiences that you want to have and things you want to have, and how you can create them, and also getting more in tune with what you really, really want. Sometimes, again, you might be surprised to find that even though you really think you want this specific thing, what you want or what the universe is going to give you is different than that. But maybe it's better, or maybe it's more unique, and maybe it's more of a blessing, from the very mundane to the very extraordinary. So if you can surrender and let that happen too, you will be amazed and intrigued and surprised, which is very fun, I think, too. So that about sums all this up. I would love to hear your manifesting experiences and what's going on for you. So if you're watching this, also before you go, hit the like button and subscribe, because I do a new video every week. But put your comments below so we can all kind of get this conversation going. Also, let me know if there are things you want me to cover, because I do a new video every week. And for more info, I've got a manifesting free meditation on my website too, at the top of the shop page. It's a short little thing that might help. Krishanti.com is the page, and I think that's all for now. I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.